Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Bubby Brister and Friends Fantasy Football Podcast presented by Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Bubby is on a missionary trip this week, so no Bubby this week. I'm here with Nick. Nick, trade season is heating up. We actually had 4 trades in our fantasy league this week. Do you want to break these down real quick?
Yeah, them trades came out fast and hot. Go and shoot them. What were they?
Let me look. It's trade season, so this started last Friday, I think was the first trade. Brandon made a trade with Hine, the Tampa Bay Punishers. Okay, here it is. This happened on Sunday morning at 8:44 a.m. Tampa Bay Punishers traded Justice Hill, the Baltimore Ravens backup running back, and he has Derrick Henry, so he broke up his handcuff here. He traded Justice Hill and Bengals tight end Eric All Jr., who I got to admit I never really heard of. He's only owned in 2% of ESPN leagues. And Tampa Bay received from Brandon Luke McCaffrey and Pat Freiermuth. I know Punishers was looking for a tight end because he was trying to get Brock Bowers for me a couple times this season already.
Right.
So that's why he targeted Freiermuth. What do you think about this trade? There's not a lot here, but I felt like Punishers won this trade because I feel like Brandon gave him Pat Freiermuth and got nothing in return.
Yeah, I think this is kind of a wash because, excuse me, because Luke McCaffrey, he's not done anything for Washington yet, really. That's worth.
He was immediately dropped after the trade.
So you got Pat Freiermuth for what? Like, the Pittsburgh Steelers aren't known for really throwing their tight ends. He's not Heath Miller, so I'm not sure what's up with that. Eric All Jr. I mean, I guess the value is that he's going to throw the ball. And Justice Hill, he's just a handcuff just to have. You know what I mean? But I don't even think Mile High doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't even have the. He doesn't have Derrick Henry, so I don't even understand this trade. They just did a trade to do a trade. It felt like this. They're moving salaries around.
I feel
That's
like
all they're doing.
Yeah, I feel like Punishers got what he wanted in Freiermuth, who is a top 8 tight end in the league, and I don't know. Yeah, there's just really not much here other than Punishers got a guy he wanted, and Brandon got virtually nothing.
Pretty much.
I think he just wanted some running back depth, so he took Justice Hill back. But yeah, Pat Freiermuth. It's a good, solid tight end. He's having a decent season. Nothing to write home. Like, he's not going to win Punishers the league, but he solidifies a spot on his roster that he felt like was a hole. But everybody feels like tight end is a hole.
Right. It is tough right now for tight ends.
So this takes us to this morning. Brandon had to make one of the most interesting fantasy moves I've ever seen, where he needed a running back because James Cook played on Monday night and was ruled inactive. He was caught with his pants down. Brandon was not prepared for this move. And I've always wondered if I would do this. Would I drop a key player to go for a win? And Brandon did it. We'll get to that in the box score later. But he had to drop James Cook to pick up Ty Johnson. So now James Cook is on waivers. Freeman pounced because he is terrible at 1-5. So Freeman gets one of the best fantasy running backs in the league in James Cook. Brandon wants his boy back. He's like, hey, I will give you Deontay Johnson, DK Metcalf, and my recently acquired Eric All Jr. to give me James Cook back. What'd you think? Freeman agreed to it.
So I will answer that. I wouldn't trade a top, especially he'd running back 1. You just can't trade your running back. You just can't drop your running back 1 because and it sucks that they did that on money. They're like, well, he ain't gonna play, and it's like, damn. And it was a few hours before that. Like, I wish there was a report. Maybe he could have maybe played it out earlier if there was anything. I heard nothing about it, so that sucks to happen. And that's a hell of a move he tried to make there. But this trade is really interesting because Deontay Johnson, there's upside because he has the talent. The problem is the team sucks. DK Metcalf.
Well, he's got a quarterback now too.
Yeah, he has a quarterback. Well, that's for how long? How long will the Red Rifle be the quarterback for that team? But DK Metcalf, he's definitely weird. The Seattle Seahawks wide receivers are always weird fantasy wise, boom and bust weeks, and up and down. Because he almost had a touchdown, but he had a foot out of bounds this past week, so his score could have been much better. So, and then Eric I don't know. So it's a really interesting trade. He just, man, I don't know. Like, James Cook is a top flight person, so I mean, because he got him back. I mean, this is a very interesting trade because it's just like, wow, that happened, huh? That's weird.
Yeah, it's bold, and credit to Brandon. He wanted his guy back. He put up or shut up, essentially. Trading DK Metcalf and Deontay Johnson to get a guy back you just cut is a bold move. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it depends on James Cook's health. As long as that was like a one-off missed game, then... And Brandon had good wide receiver depth to offer this. DK Metcalf, I just looked it up. He had 3 catches on 11 targets last week. So that goes on your, Seattle wide receivers are like a box of chocolates theory. You never know what you're going to get.
Right.
And Freeman needed depth. And he got James Cook for nothing. And this gave Freeman a bunch of receivers now because he had a good receiver core before this trade. He just added 2 more decent receivers. He accepted an offer from Kendrick 3 minutes after this offer he accepted from Brandon, where he acquired Kyler Murray straight up for Tank Dell. And Tank Dell has had a upswing in stock with the Nico Collins injury. And he had gotten nothing out of Tank Dell all season. So right now he just feels like he's adding Kyler Murray. Freeman had a hole at quarterback. For some reason, he keeps holding on to Anthony Richardson. I told him in week 2 he was droppable. What do you think of this trade? I think it's a good trade for Freeman. Freeman had to make some moves here. So even if he sucks the rest of the season, I think he can know he went down swinging with these trades today.
Dead Money's team GM is definitely putting in work today. Hot on the phone lines. This is a very interesting trade because both players I'd be considered mid. They're both mid players. They're not the upper echelon. Tank Dell is the upper echelon player, but with Diggs eating away his targets, sucks. But with Nico Collins being week to week, he's on IR. My bad. Nico's on IR right now, so He'll be back in 3 weeks. So he might turn to a pumpkin later on, but he could gobble up some wins now. And Kyle Murray is extremely up and down. He's not living up to his hype that what he could do. Maybe too much Call of Duty. I don't know, but he has the weapons on offense to have a high scoring offense, and it's just not.
That's another thing that makes this trade interesting for Freeman is he has Marvin Harrison Jr., who may or may not play this week after being concussed last week, but that gives him that Murray to Harrison stack. Matthew Berry named Kyler Murray his ride or die this year. He's usually pretty right on with those, and when he says ride or die, he's just picking the floor of a player. He's not saying this is going to be the best player. He's just saying this is a very safe pick. I think this guy is going to, be dependable all season. And Smash Hawk had been trying to trade one of his 2 quarterbacks from the draft. He was trying to trade Kyler Murray or C.J. Stroud, and he finally did it today. I think this is a good trade for both teams. Smash Hawk immediately picked up Tua, amid rumors that he will return at some point this season. So, that could be a shrewd move, too. Just, stash him on IR. And Tua might be a better fantasy quarterback than Kyler Murray anyway if he can stay healthy.
If he can stay healthy.
Right, big if. And then that trade enabled another trade with me. I had Freeman texted me, "What do you think of my trades?" And I said, "Would you trade Tyreek Hill?" And he said, "What are you offering?" And I said, Devon Achane. I'll give you Devon Achane. And I could tell right away he was interested. Because usually when you throw a trade out to someone, you either get ignored or you get told to fuck off. And he was like, is he going to play this week? And I said, I understand your concern. He was concussed. He's coming off a bye week. He did practice yesterday. I think he's going to play. And if you are concerned about this, you can pick up Jalen Wright, his handcuff. He had 13 carries last week for 86 yards. You have an open roster spot. You can do that. And then I looked, and he picked up Jalen Wright, and I was like, oh, shit, a trade might be happening here. And I'm still looking at his roster. I had offered Achane for Hill straight up. I see he picked up Wright. I'm looking at his roster, and I click on Tony Pollard. I need running backs. I had to play last week Tank Bigsby, Trey Sermon, and Roschon Johnson at running back because Brian Robinson and Achane were hurt. Right.
Real strong.
So
strong.
I'm looking at Pollard, and I'm like, man, it'd be nice to have someone dependable like Tony Pollard. 3 weeks of 20-plus points. And as soon as I started thinking that, he texted back, is CeeDee Lamb untouchable? And I said, if you give me Tony Pollard, we have a deal. And I sent it to him. He accepted. We had a deal. What do you think of this blockbuster trade today?
This right here is an A-plus trade because I think there's boom and bust on both. There's boom and bust potential on both sides. For him, picking up Achane again. Achane's a little banged up, so he might have a good. Achane was amazing last year, but he missed games last year. Mm-hmm. So that's the boom and bust with him. I think Achane's a little bit fragile. He's kind of a glass cannon at running back.
He's small.
Yeah, But then he got CeeDee Lamb, which CeeDee Lamb just gets the lion's share of targets in Big D. So, he's a guaranteed wide receiver 1 because he gets the targets, and he has the potential to boom, extremely potential, even though Dallas did not this past week. You picked up Tyreek Hill, which, again, he could do something. He could do something with very little targets. He give him 3 catches, and them 3 catches give him like 90 yards with his speed. Right. So he could still potentially turn out at least 20 points for you. On the low end, he got to get you 11. And then you got Tony Pollard, which you are correct. He is a fantasy stud. In our 6-person league, I have Tony Pollard. He's money. He's money. It makes you wonder why Dallas even gave up on him. Why didn't they pay him? Why y'all didn't pay him? Like, this guy is a stud, but you guys roll the corpse of Zeke Elliott out there every week. And Tony Pollard's like running away from people for touchdowns in Tennessee.
Yeah, he's on Tennessee, which is a bad offense, but he's the only guy on Tennessee doing anything with the ball. So we'll see if that can hold up or not. The reason I'm able to take a chance on a depreciated Tyreek Hill is Chris Godwin hit big for me in the draft. He's the number 1 ranked wide receiver.
Yep.
And I'm getting Cooper Kupp back from injury. I did not want to depend on Cooper Kupp, but this opportunity to get Tony Pollard just made me say, fuck it. Cooper Kupp's coming back. If I want a top-tier running back, it's going to cost me CeeDee Lamb. I wasn't not unhappy with CeeDee Lamb. Like, he's been very solid, but he hasn't, won me any games by himself. He has no 100-yard games this year. He only has 2 touchdowns. The Cowboys have no identity. So
when you look deep inside what Dead Money's GM had to figure out, with Olave being possibly going to miss some games, I mean, he had Olave. He had a lot of this banged up, unsure thing. Like, and then he'd be in a situation where you have to drop good players. You know what I mean? And that's because the score some points. He's have to lose somebody that's good. And when people like me, Jones, we're gonna try to snatch him up immediately. So he had to make a choice. That's why he just I'd rather just trade. I'm not gonna drop this guy.
Yeah, trades are like super waivers. The Hill for Achane 1-for-1 trade really wasn't going to do anything for us, and I think we both realized that. That gave us a framework of a trade, and then he was kind of like, okay, I got 4 receivers who are all B or B minuses. I can add an A+ here in CeeDee Lamb. He said after the trade he really didn't like Pollard or trust him. Which is crazy. He's been very good this year. Plus, he drafted him number 90th overall. But Achane, I also read, and I totally agree with this, is Achane could be an RB1 or he could be an RB3. We've seen that this season. His first 2 weeks were very good. His 2 weeks after that without Tua were terrible. Then he got hurt. So, yeah, a lot happened today. I'll find out this week if it works out or not, I guess.
Yep.
The good news is Pollard. Yeah, Pollard and Hill have both had their bye week, so that's good to go. Freeman has to sit through CeeDee Lamb's bye week this week, so that kind of sucks for him. But yeah,
he's getting a wide receiver.
Today.
He's getting a guaranteed wide receiver 1 who had over 100 targets well over 120 targets last year. So
yeah, CeeDee Lamb is a fun guy to have on your fantasy team. It sucks I had to trade him, but shit happens. So that brings us to the reality trades. Davante Adams and Amari Cooper are going to the AFC East. Real quick, because that took us a while. Let's do this in like 5 minutes. Who improved their team more, the Jets or the Bills?
I think the Bills did. Amari Cooper is like always been kind of like he just doesn't. He's disrespected in the fantasy world. We love him, but we love.
I've been wrong about him over and over and over. I thought the Cowboys were stupid as hell when they traded a number 1 for him from the Raiders. That was immediately proven wrong. I thought the Browns were dumb for trading for him. I was like, Cooper's old now. Why do they want? He thrived there with shitty quarterbacks. The Bills, he fell into their lap. Like the Bills are how the Bills went into the season this year with their wide receiver corps is embarrassing. So they're able to save face a little here with adding Amari Cooper.
Yeah,
I really have no notes on this.
The Bills GM definitely saved face on that because you're thinking that you're going to with Shakur, Mac Hollins, a rookie. You know what I mean? The Dalton Kincaid isn't really being that guy. Even like what's the other? They have another tight end that's pretty good too. They don't use them that often. You know,
Knox.
And you can see, Knox. Josh Allen's passing yards this year are way down, career lows for him. I swear he was concussed the previous week. Not this week, but the week before that. He was concussed. There was no way. I saw the stat line, 9 for 31. Dude, you were out cold, and the NFL let that shit slide. That's crazy. But, Cooper definitely the upside. Because Davante, we said a lot about Cooper. Davante is talented, but the problem is that the Jets problem isn't the wide receiver. The Jets problem is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is the problem.
Yeah, Adams turns 32 on Christmas Eve. That is when receivers start to decline. Aaron Rodgers is already in decline. This feels like the Jets rewarding their kid who wrecked their car 3 times and they bought him a Ferrari. The Jets should be selling. They should not be buying. This is gonna do nothing. This is gonna do nothing but make us laugh at them more.
And I dropped Aaron Rodgers on principle.
I got a waiver claim on him.
I dropped him on principle. I was like, fuck this guy. I'm done with him. I'm done with Aaron Rodgers. And I got Sam Darnold now. Oh, that's cool. I got Sam Darnold. I think, hey, that's upgrade in my book. You know what I mean? Guy who's second most touchdowns in the league right now. Let's go. And he has bye, so I'm good. So I'm good to go with that. Mm-hmm. But Aaron Rodgers, I don't see him. He has yet to throw for 300 yards in almost 2 years. You know what I mean? He can't run anymore. So he's not really a mobile quarterback like he used to be. That made him really dangerous in Green Bay. He don't have that. Garrett Wilson, I think it's going to help him maybe with Davante because that. But if you're an owner of Adam Lazar, sad times happening. Conkley, sad times is coming because these guys are going to have to be fed. And you're going to at least need 7 targets apiece a game. So... And more importantly, after the rant of last week, you're gonna make this move after you fire your coach.
Yeah,
that's fucked up.
Yeah, thanks.
You know what I mean? That's fucked up. Like, thanks. Oh, so now we pick up, and they're taking all the salary. Oakland is free of all salary.
Yeah.
So they could retool, they could rebuild next year, no problem. They could look at what the Bears do and just use that template to do what they got to do. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Where the Jets, where are you going to do all this? You have all this money you have to spend. Garrett Wilson's due for a contract That'll be season maybe 4 for him. He's looking for a contract soon. Extension. You got all these people. Your defense you have good players in your defense. They're got to get paid. But you got Davante, who has a huge contract, and Aaron Rodgers will not be there next year. So I'm not sure you're talking about.
Yeah, Rodgers and Adams both cried their way out of Green Bay, and the fact that Green Bay was happy to accommodate both of them should be very telling. They're both about to find out the hard way that in the NFL, sometimes teams make the players, and Green Bay is a special place where guys can thrive. The Jets is where guys go to die. This is going to be so bad. I can't wait. I cannot wait to watch this just flame out.
Woody Johnson's such a terrible owner, man. Terrible.
Yeah, they are dysfunctional. Another thing, too, with them crying their way out of Green Bay is Adams went to the Raiders. Even Antonio Brown knew that is not a good place to go. He got out of there so fast. And then the Jets is not a good place to land either. Aaron Rodgers forced his way there. This is just it's just going to be so much fun to watch it burn.
The Antonio Brown one is kind of weird because he was a troublemaker from the moment he got there. He didn't survive long enough to even get his signing bonus. And
yeah.
So he's, like, what are you doing, man? You pissed away $30 million. What's wrong with you? But I think comparable would be Randy Moss. Randy Moss went to Oakland, and it was like, the hell? You know what I mean? And it was a terrible, sad 3 years. And he had Kerry Collins throwing him the ball. Like, this is sad. This is, what
an old-ass Kerry Collins.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this was not the Super Bowl Kerry Collins. This was long after. So it was tough. So, in other news, Tom Brady is part owner now. A owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. How you feel about that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting on paper, but it's like a 5% stake, so I don't know. I'm sure he's going to go in there and just step on toes, and I don't understand how you can own a team and be a commentator at the same time.
Correct. Because being a commentator, being a part owner, you have restrictions. So he has 6 restrictions he has to follow. Because now he has big, what's the word I want to say? It'd be more of just big stipulations if he ruins his stuff. He could lose his share. You know what I mean? One is he's not permitted to be at another team's facility, so he can't show up at the Patriots place anymore. He can't show up in Tampa anymore. He has to just be there. 2, not permitted to witness any practices, whatever. Not permitted to attend broadcast production meetings, and either in person or virtually. How does that work? He's a broadcaster.
Yeah, Fox is paying him a lot of money too.
Right. He's a broadcaster. How you not doing the production meetings? Number 4, prohibit from publicly criticizing game officials and other clubs. So he's not allowed to say if a referee makes a bad call. He can't say that. That's a bad call. He's not allowed to say that on television.
If there's one thing I've learned from Donald Trump, though, since 2016, it's like shit doesn't matter for rich people and big personalities. And Tom Brady will say things about refs during games and about other players, and nothing will happen.
I think this would be because you've never other owners and like stake owners, whatever, they're kind of, other than Jerry Jones, the rest of the owners are just very quiet people. You don't hear about them, right, at all.
Yeah.
So he's a part owner, and if he's out there publicly saying it, there'll be another owner out there like this that doesn't like Tom Brady and be like this, man, fuck this guy. He's not allowed to do that. Yeah, something's got to happen because that's not fair. You know what I mean? Because they're all billionaires. Tom Brady's not a billionaire.
There are owners that don't like him, from what I understand.
And he's subject to NFL's gambling policy, so you can't gamble at all on any NFL games. And lastly, he's subject to the NFL anti-tampering policy, so he has to be careful talking to players.
Can he have a gambling endorsement? I'm guessing no.
I guess not. Maybe not. I would avoid it. It'd be touchy because it's the NFL's one, so it'd be an NFL committee has to decide on it.
I don't know what his goal is here. I have a hard time believing. I don't know if Mark Davis has any kids or not. If he does, I'm sure they're ugly. But unless Tom Brady's goal is to eventually become the majority owner of the Raiders, I don't really know what his goal is here.
His goal is to be rich. Want to be. He's like, I want to be part owner of a team, and the Oakland Raider one's the only one that's allowing me to do it. Denver had, they had an ownership, but like the Walmart Waltons got it. So the Commanders, they're owned by somebody now, like a group. A group got in. Magic Johnson's part of that group. Am I correct?
The Commanders, yeah. Which Magic Johnson's annoying. He's very likable. I'm not saying I don't like him, but when they got in there for the Commanders, he like tried being the face of the. He was just talking way too much, and he was saying things that, like, about the brand name possibly changing, and I'm so over the team name changing. I was just like, Magic, we got to move on. Hey, do you remember this song?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's good stuff right there.
I'm waiting for the chorus here.
Money.
Lots and lots of money.
High in the sky.
Alright, I think we're coming up on the chorus here.
Want money.
Lots and lots of money.
Nobody can tell me why. I wanna be rich. La 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 la. Be rich. So great.
That is great. Yeah, you said I want to be rich, and let me know. So let's get.
You thought I said that.
Let's get these box scores.
Oh, he had that one hit. That's all the song he had. That's all it had.
And it said his name was Callaway.
Yeah, that was it.
All right, so here we go. I am facing Sweetness 34 this week. I fall to 4-2. Heater improved to 2-4. I lost 150 to 129. I am very sick and tired of teams putting 150 up on me every week. It is amazing. I'm 4-2. I should not take my record for granted. I did have a path. No, I did not have a path to victory either. I wanted to wait until Monday night to play the Jets head coach, but I hated the matchup against the Bills, and I had a guy to cut in Braylon Allen. So I rolled the dice on the Giants. They lost. But even with that, if the Giants or the Jets would have won, I would have lost this game 150 to 149. So no path to victory for me. I had 0 points on my bench, literally zero. How I lost, though, is, like I said earlier, I played Bigsby, Roshan Johnson, and Trey Sermon. They got me a combined 18 points from my RB1, RB2, and flex spots. But other than that, guys did pretty good. Chris Godwin, 11 catches, 125 yards, 2 touchdowns, 35 points. Godwin has been a godsend for me this season. He's been great. CeeDee Lamb in his final game for me. He is not happy about going to a 1-5 team, by the way. There were reports he might not report to dead money. That'd be hilarious. He's 7 catches, 89 yards, 15 points.
He won't show up. Damn.
Jaden Daniels, 29 points again. That's it for me, really. My kicker did good. Seibert.
Yeah, your kicker did good. Like I said, Chris Godwin, he made most of that damage that game off that long run of poor tackling by the Saints. They literally dudes hit him. He's kept running. I was like, okay. Your boy Jaden Daniels, though, that's the spotlight for your team because he's turning into a fantasy stud.
Yeah, I figured he'd be good fantasy-wise. So the fact that he's good reality-wise is fantastic. Yeah, no complaints. He's the engine of my team, and I did not see that coming. I just thought he'd be like a steady guy who could get 30 some weeks, but he's basically averaging 29 points every game. So no complaints. I drafted him at 105. But yeah, this game was about heater.
Yeah, sweetness here. A couple of low lights there with Amari Cooper. His last game there in the purgatory of the Browns. with 8 points. Ferguson, three catches for 11 yards. Womp womp. But Hunter Henry, he found the end zone this past week. He got Davante Smith back, 3 for 64. Yep. 3 catches for 64. You'd want to think it'd be at least get to 5 catches, man. And it bothers me with how Philly uses Davante Smith and
AJ Brown.
Yeah, you have 2 star wide receivers, and you just can't get enough. There's not enough passes apparently between those 2 guys.
And DeAndre Swift had 91 yards and a touchdown, 27 points. He had 17 carries. He has been very good for the Bears and for Heater this season. He has thrived since leaving Philadelphia.
He had a slow start, man, but the Bears, they're very soft. Soft is nice. They have an easy-ass schedule. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They haven't faced their hard games yet. They haven't faced the division games. Because when they have to go against Minnesota and the Detroit and Green Bay, that's when it gets tough for them. And that's where they're going to take 6 straight losses right there. I just see them not winning because just the Bears aren't a good team. And I know it sounds nice, and we're going to talk about Caleb's stats too and all that stuff. But
he's on the bench here. Peter left 40 points on the bench. You don't blame him, though, for not playing Williams over Josh Allen, right. But he might have to start making some difficult decisions.
And it was going to hurt because he's going to do that, and then it'll be the game that burns him. And that's what hurts because Caleb Williams cannot be trusted yet. I feel he can't be trusted. His reaction time is too slow. He literally threw the ball at one of his offensive lineman's head last game. You know what I mean? So it's really tough.
Heater left the Eagles head coach win on the bench, so he could have, ran up the score on me a little bit here. Bijan Robinson, 31 points, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's really picked it up the last.
That's probably Robinson's best game as a professional, for real.
Yeah, he's double digits every game. The Atlanta might turn him loose, but good win for Heater here. I really got nothing else.
I got nothing else there.
So that takes us to your game. Buck, what you think? You're on a 2-game winning streak. You took down the mighty Smash Hawk, 145-127.
Let's go. That was what we talked about last week. The must-win games, because if I couldn't fall farther, I have to try to get out of the hole here that I'm in. And I had to talk with my team, and they responded accordingly. Mike Evans did not, though. He walked out the room when I was talking, so that's fine. And that's why he got 5 points this past week. What else to do with that? Ford for Cleveland, though, I think he's turning into a pumpkin. Pumpkin alert.
Yeah, he's a spoiled pumpkin, too, because Chubb is back, and now Ford is hurt. He might not see the field again.
Right. I dropped him today, so I was like, I'm done. I'm cutting bait. I was moving off.
What did you get out of him? On the season, were you happy with slow loading here?
Not bad. I mean, I got some good early. I got a couple decent value out of them. Decent value. But
I see it. I think you can be happy with that.
Dobbs from the Chargers, which turned into more of a ground and pound team now again, which is I don't want to rehash that, but it's depressing. Baker Mayfield, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Them 3 interceptions are all on him too. They're just bad passes. But if the offense keeps clicking like that in Tampa, Baker Mayfield's a top 3 quarterback this year, technically. The way he's
number
rolling
2 right now. Right. Between Mayfield and Dobbins, you drafted Mayfield at 134 and Dobbins at 119. Great draft picks.
Mark Andrews found the end zone this week.
Yeah.
Which is crazy on my bench. That's
on
fine.
Your bench, though.
Yeah. Rashid, he got a punt return for a touchdown. I dropped him as well. He's out indefinitely. So it's like the Saints are they're falling apart. So it's bad times. I did that with my running back one, White. He missed the game altogether. And Ridley was 0 for 8 on targets. 0 for 8.
So this win is big for you in that you did it without Mark Andrews, you did it without Rashad White, and you did it without Kareem Hunt. Great win. And Calvin Ridley, I don't even know what to say. He's like the wide receiver version of Ezekiel Elliott.
Right. And Smash Hawk, I know you like pointing stuff out like this. He had a road to winning here. He started T Spears. He should have started Algier. Algier was there. You know,
I got a story on that. Brindle texted me. He was like, I picked up, I don't know what he did. He picked up somebody, but he had to drop somebody to do it. And he texted me, he's like, sucks I had to drop Algier. He's like, hopefully I can get it back on waivers. I was like, yeah, dog, you're not getting him back on waivers. He's a running back. On a run-heavy team, you should have dropped your head coach, your kicker, your defense. Anytime you want to slip a guy through waivers, it's one of those guys. It's not a potential RB2. And Smash Hawk is the last team we need getting guys for free like that. And so good pickup by him.
Great pickup.
But too bad he didn't play him here because you would have lost.
I would have lost that. Right. And he got no points from his tight end. So that's a tough money right there. I don't even know what happened there. But Stroud is continuing to be a very consistent quarterback. 3 touchdowns, but under 200 yards passing, which is interesting. Alvin Kamara, 21 points. He found the end zone, but he only had 40. Like he only had 40 yards rushing. Like he didn't have a lot of receiving yards either. But he had that goal line touch that saved a lot of points there. A.J. Brown, 6 for 116. He had a long catch. Robinson, though, for the Giants, he might be on pumpkin alert because Neighbors is coming back. So that could be potential issues for him. Yeah. But he's getting Kay Williams back from the Rams after their bye. Which helps a lot.
He's one of his best players.
He'll be heavy on running backs again, so he'll have to decide who's going to start. If he's not going to start Algier, you know what I mean? Like he'll put Algier probably in the flex. Yeah.
Yeah, he lost Spears though to injury. Sounds like he's going to be out a while. I think he was a hamstring, and then Goddard, the Philly tight end, also hamstring. And you see hamstring. I mean that could be a month minimum.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I got on that.
Yeah, me too. Good win. Dead Money finally got off the schneid. He should have lost, though. He only scored 110 points. Jordan scored 103. Dead Money, Freeman, he played Aaron Rodgers, who he got from you. He got 25 points out of him. That's pretty good. Tony Pollard in his final Dead Money game, 24 points, 93 yards touchdown. Zach Moss, who he has been loving this trade that he fleeced me on, but Zach Moss is done. He's had 11 points last 2 weeks, 15 carries, 37 yards. He fumbled and got benched. That I don't even know his name. It's like Chase Brown or something.
Yeah.
He's just gonna fully usurp Moss, and Moss will be like an Algier type. I think. Like you never know when he's gonna get to work.
Which is crazy because Zach Moss was like such a fancy darling last year.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think I had him last year. I think I did. It's or at least I have him. It's hard to keep up. I'm in 3 leagues, so I might have him one of my leagues. So I was like, I was trying to sleep or anything, but
I was happy to draft him because I wanted Zamir White in the draft, and so when I got Moss like 2 rounds later, I was like, okay, this is basically the same thing, and then I just made the shitty trade.
But he's very consistent. He can catch and everything else. Just this year in Cincinnati, he just lost focus. I'll tell you. Marvin Harrison, though, 0 points. -1 for Chris Olave, which is crazy.
So he got a -1 total from his 2 wide receiver spots. That has got to be an all-time low in our league.
But he had Tank Dell come through with 18 points, and his fantasy special teams really picked up the slack there for him compared to the other guy here. The other team here were Daniel Jones is just
23.
Why are we starting him? Like, why is there not another fancy quarterback like Daniel Jones is the choice? Like this can't.
He had Mahomes on a bye, so he just kind of threw a dart. That's why I put a claim on Aaron Rodgers though for Friday, just because it is slim pickings for quarterbacks on the. It's not like previous years where you can just go grab anybody. Like the 10 guys who are on waivers at quarterback on any given time in our league this year totally suck.
And that's why I was surprised that Sam Darnold was sitting there, because Sam Darnold was there and he was there because he was on a bye. It said it had no number next to him. It just said bye, and I was like, I'll pick him up. I mean, whatever. I mean, I'm done with A-Rod. bye. You know what I mean? You're throwing your team under the bus. You're blaming Mike Williams. Get out of my face. You know what I mean? I don't want to see you anymore. Get out of my office. Pack your shit. You know what I mean? But James, your boy James Madison, James Mason, you want to take back as a fantasy guy this
Jordan
year?
Mason.
Jordan Mason.
Sprained AC joint. It doesn't sound good. Even if he turns into a pumpkin here, I still feel good about my claim. He did very good for 6 weeks. I went very bold. He backed me up until he got hurt. We'll see. McCaffrey, there's still no word on him. I heard he went to Bulgaria to get like a fucking
Jesus
spine. I made that up, but he's in trouble.
Well, I'll say like Jesus. My man getting fetus injected in his leg over here, like. But San Francisco, they're really rough for their running backs. Their running backs just get banged up. It's crazy because when you watch
they're
the
very
game,
good.
You don't ever seem like they get tackled. Like they don't even look to get tackled when they watch the game. You know what I mean? And they're always getting hurt.
I picked up that guy who had 10 carries for 99 yards from them, who spelled for Mason after the injury. It's like Isaac Garando or something. So you never know what you're going to get when you pick up a 49ers running back. I don't have anything else here. True. James Conner had a bad game.
The problem is just like the big difference in this game is that like the other guy, Mr. Palmer's team here, his team, they scored. There's a lot of double-digit scores compared to dead money. The problem is that there's no 20. He hit 20. Not one player hit 20 points, and that's why his
Freeman's
score's so low.
top two guys had over 20. Yeah,
right.
So
50 points combined, where he's like in the middle. His four, Mason, Higgins, Sutton, and Kincaid don't even equal 50. So it's like it barely equals 50. So it's like it's not enough. So it's just he just needs a little more firepower. And he'll get it back with Mahomes and Kelsey coming back and McCaffrey hopefully coming there. He did pick up Foreman, so Foreman's probably going to be running the rock in Cleveland. He's putting a lot.
He got Chubb coming back.
Right, he's putting a lot in. He's putting a lot of investment in the Browns running back situation. But James Williams, I don't know why he got James Williams for New Orleans running back.
No, that's Jamal.
Jamal Williams. Why are you using him? He's not getting play.
Right.
He's just there.
Basically, though, if Freeman's head coach loses, or even if he doesn't play when he loses this game, so he'd still be winless, or if Jordan had played a head coach. So this was a thin margin of error for Freeman in a low-scoring game.
Yeah, very much so.
So this brings us to Mile High Salute. Brandon versus Lionheart. Brindle has lost 3 in a row since changing his team name to the despicable Lucky Lions. 133 to 130. Jordan Love threw 3 touchdowns in the first 25 minutes of this game. He blew up. 4 touchdowns total, 38 points. Jared Goff answered the call on the other side for Brindle, 315, 3 touchdowns, 33 points. This is the game Brandon had to drop James Cook to pick up Ty Johnson. Ty Johnson scored 3 points, 34 yards on Monday night on 4 carries in a revenge game against the Jets. Remember, he's a former Jet, and he needed all 3 of those points to win. It's amazing.
That is, man, that is amazing that he won by 3 points because the guy gave him 3. Because it's literally a toss-up. Because in another league, I picked up Ty Johnson because I had James Cook, but I was able to put him on the bench and then just pick up another guy. And I left a roster spot open, and I picked up him because they had both running backs available in that league. And I picked Tyler Johnson because he's the backup, but they ended up using the third stringer more. So it's just
Ray Davis.
Yeah, it's a bit tough, the rookie. But, man, it's a nail-biter. The Detroit Lions just came so close, almost got this win. I mean, getting 0 points from Tucker from Las Vegas sucks.
Yeah, that is a dud. That is why he lost.
That's heartbreaker, you know what I mean? Because if he would have, if he would have had Dobbs out there who had his hell of a game.
Yeah, I understand not playing Dobbs because he was in the doghouse coming off suspension, but, I mean, playing a guy for the Raiders isn't a good idea either, so, like, I can't give you a pass for it, but I do understand it. And then also, he played the Jets defense, who got 2 points, where the Detroit Lions defense got 27 points. They ripped the Cowboys, just ripped them open, and just put them to bed. And so Brindle had passed a victory here.
And we'll hear our weekly tradition of what you got to say about Ezekiel Elliott here on his team. 3 points. Ezekiel Elliott on his bench. He just rostering him.
Yeah, go to bed, man. What the fuck? I don't know what I don't even know what to say at this point. Like, you should be embarrassed. I don't even know like why your family talks to you. Just cut Ezekiel Elliott.
You know, and take it that like we were talking about the trades earlier with with All Jr. Cincinnati and Justice Hill with Baltimore. Both of them combined for 4 points.
Did he play? He didn't play Justice Hill. He at least played Eric All Jr. Back to Ezekiel Elliott, though. This is like, you're literally better off picking up some no-name running back who you don't know what the ceiling is, and because Ezekiel Elliott has no ceiling. He has no floor. He's like he's in like a suspended state of animation. He's not gonna do anything for you. Throwing a dart on someone like Ray Davis, or I mean, you could literally just pick a guy and he will. The unknown is
what I would say is, like, for me at least, I would understand that. Hey man, like, you know, Mile High tried with T. Johnson, former Jet player, playing against his former team. You know what I mean? There's potential of boom, and I see the vision. Zeke? Nah, man.
It's over.
This ain't 2018. This is not happening.
So Brindle 3-game losing streak. That's tough. He fell into that pit. When we get to the standings in a little bit, there's not much to say, but we called it last week. If you were 2-3, you needed a win this week because it is a fucking pit.
Right.
Tampa Bay Punishers 4-game winning streak extended. He wins 135-93 over stealing the wins. Art got 6 points from Dak Prescott. That is not good. Dak Prescott threw 2 picks. This was the worst Cowboys home loss since 1988. This was on Jerry Jones's birthday, which is hilarious. They should have fired Mike McCarthy in the same way the Jets should have fired Robert Saleh. When you bring this baggage in over to the next season, I'm afraid the Orioles are making the same mistake. When you limp to the end and you bring them back the next season, it carries over. You've already just started out doomed. I don't really know. Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson are just driving the Punishers the way they're driving the Ravens. It's kind of impressive.
Yeah. So it just, as they do is what they do. It makes sense. I mean, if it's winning, it's working. There are a couple of lowlights here. Brandon Ayuk 2 for 37. It's very womp. Etienne -1 yards. Christ.
Yeah, he's pumpkin
you know status.
I mean?
It's like, what's happening? What's happening in Jacksonville running back room? But stealing the wins, though, he has Geno Smith on the bench, and Geno's very consistent. I would have started Geno. I don't know if I would have started Dak Prescott against the Lions defense, which was pretty good, which was very good before they lost Hutch. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have trust Dak to give me over 20. So at least Geno gives you at least 20.
That was a dirty play where the Cowboys broke Hutchinson's leg like that too. That was fucked up. I'd never seen. They took him out. It was savage. No, I'm just kidding. He broke his own leg.
Broke his own leg, but it was gross the way it happened though. Barkley, man, Philly, man, get it together. The head coach of Philly should be fired just for the sake of how you're not using Barkley. Oh, we're struggling to win games. Why are you not using this guy, man? Like, you see what Baltimore's doing with Derrick Henry? Yeah, you do that. You pay your running back. You pay him money, so use him.
Yeah, Henry is on pace for 1,995 yards over 17 games. So he could break 2,000 yards again. He's the first player since LaDainian Tomlinson in 2005 to score a touchdown in the team's first 6 games, and he leads the league with 9 touchdowns already. Stealing the wins has the same problem that Jordan had, where he had a bunch of guys in double digits, but no one in the 20s. Drake London had another nice game, 6 catches, 74 yards, and a touchdown, but that was 19 points. That was his top scorer.
Right, and he started Kraft for Green Bay, and I understand why, because Kraft's been hot, getting a lot of touchdowns. But I guess now, people keyed on him, and now they're just he went to wide receivers. Yeah,
groiny practice though.
Yeah, Kyle Pitts 3 for 70. Kyle Pitts has been warming up. He's finally showed up a little bit. I would say Kyle Pitts kind of arrived.
And before we go on this one, just shout out Chuba Hubbard again, another nice game. And Terry McLaurin, 2 touchdowns, 6 catches, 53 yards. He's been very good this year. He's a 12th ranked receiver. 200-yard games out of the 6, 4 touchdowns. Last 4 weeks, he started out slow. He only had 11 points in weeks 1 and 2. And since then, he's had just so many, I can't even do the math. 43, 61... 74 points in the last 4 weeks for Terry McLaurin.
Wow.
That's
not bad. You know what I mean? Keenan Allen had 2 touchdowns, too.
Yeah, he showed some signs of life. He probably considered dropping him. Good thing he didn't, especially with that ATN injury. That's going to sting. Because he's done.
Yeah. Downs, Jay Downs on punkin' alert, though, because Richardson's supposedly healthy, so... sorry. You're not getting as many passing attempts as that you were getting before.
Yeah, I rostered Alex Pierce this week. I did not want to play him in the flex spot. I was able to avoid it, but because Richardson was rumored to be starting, he didn't.
Yeah, he'll be back next week though.
So 2 games left. Renegades of Funk, 2-game winning streak. He improves to 3-3. He beat Jones. I'm still calling him the Boy Scout Trombones. I don't know. He's a shitty team name, too. Brock Purdy, 32 points, 255, 3 touchdowns. He just does this every year now. Anytime people want to doubt him, he's undeniable at this point.
I know, man. Brock Purdy, I'm not a believer in Purdy. I'm just not. I mean,
even from a fantasy perspective?
Fantasy-wise, I do. I believe in fantasy-wise. NFL-wise, no. But as fantasy quarterback, oh, yeah. He's money because he's in the Shanahan
you can get him
system.
cheap every year, too. He was drafted 130th, and then he was very good last year as well. He got 28 points. DeMoss did from, what's his name, Tyrone Tracy Jr., who got a bunch of work with Devin Singletary out. He got 17. He got 23 touches for 107 yards and a touchdown for 28 points. He's pumpkin alert, but very good game.
Yeah, Daryl Mooney, he's pumpkin alert for real. Because 3 for 38, all right, you showing flashes of old school Roddy White, he is not. And there's that. And Evan Ingram first game back, 18 points, at tight end. Evan Ingram had 10, he had over 10 targets. So
yeah, 10 catches, 102 yards. 10 catches on 10 targets.
Yeah, and then, Renegades of Funk got Davante Adams coming back to actually play. So Mashley's hamstring is fine. So that's going to help him out there. Nakuda Matata over here.
He did not play a head coach. He had a winning one on his bench. He should have played him. It's Sunday night. He should have known he needed the points by then.
Yeah. His team's kind of a head scratcher for me because it's I see Jalen Hurts and Najee Harris had probably one of his best games as a career for real. He showed real burst in past Sunday. But, Lag McConkey, I don't know. I would sell the stock on Lag McConkey.
Yeah. He's ranked 50th. I don't know. He's a good bench piece, but yeah, he's playing him in the flex. He played Alexander Madison in a spot start with Ramondre Stevenson out, Mostert on a bye. He got 21 points, 33 yards, a touchdown, and then he dropped him today. I understand, the pumpkin theory, but if a guy gets you 21 points, you hang on for one more week.
Yeah, you might want to see what's happening here, because you don't want to be the guy that said, "Man, I got rid of him too early before the train showed up."
Yeah, and Zamir White has been shitty, and injured. But yeah, not much more here. Justin Tucker, 13 points. He's back. He started out slow, but he's in the top 10 kicking now again because he's had 26 points the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, Tuck, he got it back. He's good.
Yeah, good win for Tomas. He won he's one of those 2 and 3 teams that got the win. Last one here, we got MVP Rob Spahn, 5-game winning streak. He beat the New Day Co-op, who was on a 2-game losing streak. 5-1 is MVP. Slade 3-3. Spahn got high points, 40 high fives with a whopping 187. Slade did enough here to win. He just played the wrong opponent this week. That's all.
Yeah, it's tough, and it happens. MVP, his team just come out clicking all cylinders. Joe Mixon, he's actually had himself a major game at running backs past week. He has Chase Brown, so he has some points too. Deebo Samuel had that one long run off a bad angle. If they would have just tackled him, he would never have all those points. Adam Lazar had that Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Kenneth Walker III, though, just very consistent. Very consistent there with 24 points.
Yeah, he's got 3 horses in Mixon, Chase Brown, Kenneth Walker, even Devin Singletary to some extent. He won this game with Jordan Jefferson on a bye week, which is big. Not only did he have almost everybody but his kicker in double digits, he had 5 guys in the 20s and Mixon at 31. And then Brown came in at 18. So, I mean, that's how you get high points. It's just a very good week overall. Jerry Jeudy, I mean, is he going to be better with Cooper gone? I know he's droppable, but do you hang on for another week and see what happens now that Cooper's been traded?
I probably would. Because Cooper needs at least a week to get the rust off.
And then he got 24 points from Cole Kmet on the bench, and then Bucky Irving, 22 points on the bench also. What's going on with the Bucs running back room now that Tucker had a big game? I added him this week in free agency. Bucky Irving had a big game, and Rachaad White will be back from injury. Are they going to play 3 guys again? Or is it going to be one of those things you never know which running back to play now?
I feel like you be one of the things that you don't know which one to play because they're going to ride the hot hand. We'll get a better idea what things look like tomorrow because they have the Monday night game this week against Baltimore. So they're going to have their first practice tomorrow. So you say who's hurt and everything else. Because White got shut down because of his leg. Not leg, but his foot. And the problem with Bucky and Sean, for real, is that they're not good at pass pro. And White's really good at pass pro. So you have to be good at pass pro to get more reps. Even though Bucky and Sean look more explosive.
Yeah.
So
that's always like the devil of the details when it comes to running backs. Why ain't this guy playing? These guys are better. Oh, he can't block.
You got to know this. He don't know all the plays. We had that problem with Rojo a couple years ago.
There's a lot here for Slade. Breece Hall, 27 points. That's good to see if you're him. He was kind of trending down with 15 points the previous 2 weeks. So, he got his top dog back, so to speak. Josh Jacobs, another good game. Zay Flowers could be on the verge of a breakout here. 9 catches, 132 yards. Last 2 weeks, he's had 40 points. He's had 16 catches on 21 targets, 243 yards last 2 weeks. He doesn't get in the end zone very much because Henry's eating all the touchdowns there, and Lamar can sneak in some touchdowns, but Zay Flowers could be a dude.
Yeah, Zay Flowers, he's the trusted blanket out there if he has to throw the ball. Because it looks like Baltimore runs a West Coast offense. So there's lots of slants and drags, stuff like that. So if he keeps doing what he does and keep very consistent, whatever, and earn more trust for Lamar, his stats should go up.
And he got Trey McBride back 2 weeks in a row since missing week 4 against the Commanders. He's had 14 catches on 17 targets since his return. 96 yards this week. This is a tough loss for Slade.
Yeah, the no-biters always suck.
Yeah. Yeah, or just, like, he would have beat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He would have beat 9 other teams this week.
Damn.
Yeah, that's bad. There's this new thing in fantasy that I get real irritated by, like, the fantasy snob community, because so many people... There's this new thing now where you play your opponent, but you also play every other team. That shit is weak as hell. Like, this should mirror the randomness of reality football. It shouldn't be, oh, I studied harder than you. You know what I mean? Like, with the banning the kickers. Kickers are a huge part of games that are decided every week in the NFL.
Absolutely.
It just fantasy snobs. I hope we never do that in our league. If someone pitches it, they're immediately out.
Keep that in mind, guys. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, you've been warned. The standings: Spawn and Hine are both 5-1. Smash Hawk and Billy are each 4-2. I'm third in points scored, first in points against. I already expressed my frustration. Here's where the mud happens. 5 teams are 3-3. There are 4 2-4 teams now. So those 2 and 3 teams that lost this week are, I mean, it just wasn't a good week to lose. And then there's Freeman at 1-5. He's not dead yet. He has a 10% playoff percent chance. We'll see if these moves helped him out this week. I was happy to see him make some moves though. I mean, being 1-5 is not fun. So, shake it up.
Yeah, you definitely gotta make some moves there, because even where Buck, what you think is sitting in between the 3-3s, there's 2 3-3 teams above me and 2 below me, but they're all 3-3 because I don't score a lot of points, But you gotta keep the pressure on, and it's definitely not a sprint. It's definitely a marathon with this fantasy stuff.
Yeah, so that brings us to our Hall of Famer. It's me this week. Corey Dillon got in last week. I've often referenced the first year I played fantasy football. I just had so much fun that year. Like I said, it was the year 2000. This is our 25th anniversary of our championship team, the first year I played in the year 2000. This was pre-phones. I used to just print off the website all the time and just stare at it while I smoked cigarettes in my garage.
That's hardcore as hell.
I was in. And Corey Dillon got in last week. I put in Brett Favre the week before. They were both members of that 2000 team. Last year, Eddie George got in. He was the horse of that team. And I wanted to put in the last fantasy Hall of Fame worthy guy from that team. Derek Alexander had a big year that year, but he's not a fantasy Hall of Famer. He just had one big year. So I went with the last wide receiver to be drafted number 1 overall in the NFL reality draft 28 years ago. The New York Jets selected Keyshawn Johnson, number 1 overall, from the University of Southern California. Big target, 6'4", 211. Along with the Jets, he also played for the Bucks, Cowboys, and Panthers. He was a Super Bowl 37 champion, 3-time Pro Bowler, winner of the Paul Warfield Trophy, a 2-time All-American, Pac-10 Offensive Player of the Year. He had 814 career receptions, 10,571 receiving yards, 64 touchdowns, a successful post-playing media career. That counts. He's a Hall of Fame personality, as well as a player with ESPN and Fox Sports. He was the first player to ever get Keyshawned, where the team deemed he was more trouble than he was worth, and they sent him home. Right. And they're like, we'll pay you, just stay away. He was a best-selling author with a controversial title book, Just Give Me the Damn Ball. So welcome to the Fantasy Hall of Fame, Keyshawn Johnson. Yeah. His nephew might make it someday too, Michael Thomas. We'll see.
How many touchdowns have Keyshawn have in his career?
64, and I was going to mention that in 2001 he had 106 receptions for the Bucks. It was his best year, but he only had 1 touchdown.
Keyshawn is he showed grit as a player, because in Tampa they didn't really use him as well as they could have. But I remember him more for being in Dallas with Terry Glenn. And then also, he was there at the beginning of Miles Austin, career. and he catching passes over the middle. He for a big guy, catching passes over the middle is kind of crazy. You know what I mean? And he's like big, like skinny, not like big, like big. So that's Keyshawn Johnson, man. Yeah, and 60 touchdowns. No, it's nothing to sneeze at, man. He was very productive as a Jet. As a Jet, he was super productive.
Yeah, he didn't have the best quarterbacks in any of his stops either. This was when he was with Dallas. I think it was like a pre-Romo world, or Romo was maybe just getting started. Who knew? Who knows who the Jets had a quarterback when he was drafted? Maybe Chad Pennington. And with the Bucs, they could not find a quarterback to save their life those years. He was there as Sean King and Brad Johnson. Maybe he was there like for some Dilfer overlap, but in some ways, Keyshawn Johnson didn't live up to the hype. He won't be making the NFL Hall of Fame, but in my book, he's a fantasy Hall of Famer for sure. Very solid. He might not have won you leagues by himself, but he gave you a very safe floor, like a very solid wide receiver 2 on your fantasy team. Just, yeah, good career.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that, man. And, salute to him. He did a good job, man. The Carolina years, we don't talk about that. You go to Carolina in your career, we just don't talk about it, right? You don't talk about it. It never happened.
Yeah, everyone has that one sad year if we go through maybe we'll make a special episode where we go through like the one sad year of all our fantasy Hall of Famers where they spent on a weird team, like Eddie George with the Cowboys.
Right.
But yeah, that's it. You got anything else?
I got on that. I think we touched on all the subjects here, NFL here. I think that's it. We'll see you guys next week, whatever, with some of the hot topics, what's happening in NFL and fantasy news.
Yeah, this was fun. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you.